All right, so today what we're going to do is we're going to use the calendar and go ahead and lay out the 2020 plan so that there's no hiccups in the plan that we're going to set forth. So the first thing we need to do is find out just exactly when January 1st is. Now let's see if there's a calendar in the front. All right, so I love this one because it actually has all of the holidays so that you can mark all the holidays, and it goes to 2023. So it says January 21st, 2022. It doesn't, darn, it doesn't have 2023 on here. I'm gonna have to look it up. But we can look at the end of 2022 and see that the last day is the 31st, which is on a Saturday. All right, so that means that Sunday is the first day of January. So we're going to start with Sunday the 1st. And Monday is going to be on the 2nd. Tuesday will be the 3rd. And so on and so forth. All right, so last year, I really struggled to get my bills paid on time. And the reason this is because they all come on the same date. And I kept doing my budget. I kept trying to figure out why I was always broke. And even though I would do the whole budget and it would come out that, I had plenty of money. And, whenever you do the budget and it's saying that you have enough money to get by with some cushy leftover money, but at the end of the month, you're trying to figure out why you're broke and you can't get by. It's because the established businesses are charging too much in overdraft fees as well as anything like that. So when all your bills fall within this same little couple days, it really, really hurts. It really hurts you because you have to pay a ton of late fees when your money comes throughout the month. So the best thing to do is to prepare for that. And so I tried to call all my bill collectors last year and say, hey, this isn't really working out for me. I figured this out in February right away. Maybe even by the end of January, I was counting up all the late fees that I had incurred because all my bills fall right here in the first 3 or 4 days of the month. And they're like, oh, I'm sorry, you have to have an account with us for at least a year before we can change the date. And I was like, oh, okay, Karen. That's ridiculous. There's no reason why they shouldn't just change your date to accommodate you, but they're going to get a late fee from you times 12. So however many, and then of course, whenever you do swap it over, they charge you a whole lot of extra money, especially if you're talking about like AT&T or something like that. If you actually get them to change the date of your billing cycle, it almost costs you double what you would normally pay that month because you have to pay it on this date and on this date. So be careful, like especially if you're planning on moving, you know your rent's going to be due on whatever day you sign that contract. And I have a funny feeling that a lot of people are going to be moving. And so, this is January, okay? So we're gonna type in January, and this is 2023, Now, I was so certain that 2020 was going to be the best year ever and that there was nothing that was going to stand in my way. But it has just been completely cycling out of control for years. And I finally have opportunity to make more money. Actually, every year I'm making more money than I was the previous year, but it's just not enough. And I'm actually thinking about selling some of the things that I had purchased to make money, and that's just not even acceptable. I can't sell my investments. Okay, I'm not sure if January has 31 days, so we're just going to leave it like that for now. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight the days that I get paid currently. And you don't really want to put on here that that's your payday, because number one, if anybody sees it, it's none of their business, but which I'm giving it to the whole world right now. But regardless, the days that you get paid, go ahead and highlight those days. Because some months you get, like, you may budget, most of the time I do my budget for the month and I say, oh, okay, well, I'm probably going to make, there's going to be at least 4 weeks in this month. But some months are shorter than others and some months are longer than others. And depending on what day you get paid, you may have 5 paydays in that month. Or even if you have someone else living in your household that helps pay the bills with you, then, it might be even a lot more pay than you would normally get that month. Like this month, December has quite a few paydays, and I should have been really racking up on that, but instead the bank was racking up on it because all of my due dates are off. So if you're one of those people who've been struggling like this in 2021 and you've been in your location and now they've gone up on the rent and you're thinking, man, I've got to move. I don't even have a choice. If I don't get out of here, then everything is just going to fall apart, do your budget and see if any of your, like some billing, some people that do bills after the first year, they go up. But remember that you can move these payments around after you've been with them for a year. So go ahead and first put your days that you're paid, and then after that, put the days that your roommate gets paid or your lover, and then anything else that you do to make money, like say you have an additional job that you have to do on the weekends, or say that you have like me, I have a ton of things that I do that may or may not pay. Okay. But if they don't definitely pay, then you're going to save that for these days. All right. Oh, look, I pushed a little too hard. Whoops. All right, so save that for these days. Now, my girlfriend was telling me that she's having a hard time planning any kind of vacation, and she said they're totally broke and they don't know how to even think about where they would want to go. And so I told her, well, I plan out my vacation in advance, 3 months in advance. I just go ahead and do the budget for 3 months, and then after that, I see how much money we're going to have left, and that's how I decide. All right, so after you've got all your numbers, letters, and everything laid out, then we're going to go get your list of your bills. If you're not like me, a super organized Fruit Loop that has all your bills on a list like this. All right, so what I do is I put the date, then I put the company, then I put the phone number, the account number, and the amount due. And then I have another little section over here in case I think of something else. But then I go through, and on the first of the month, that's almost definitely when rent's due. So even if you're moving, you're probably going to move out at the first. You're probably going to sign a new lease on the first. And if you, whenever your rent is due, go ahead and highlight that. And that's probably going to be your biggest bill. So make sure that you make it like clear as day that you're going to have something big due this day. Now, I have lost my big yellow highlighter. I left it at my last job. Stupidly. They didn't appreciate it. Anyway, so I like to use the big, large tipped highlighters that are kind of thin so they don't bleed. I like it when they don't bleed. But anyways, so first we're gonna put, the rent. Now, unfortunately, my rent's going up, yay. All right, so put your rent there, and then put your other bills here. Now, internet, and let's see. See, this is what's killing me, is my internet and my insurance are due on the same day. All right, and the thing is, they never go through on this day. Sometimes they'll go through on the 9th or the 10th, and sometimes they go through right away. They just do whatever they want to do. And then if it's on a weekend, it takes even longer. Sometimes it doesn't go through till like the 12th. All right, so then take a look at your other bills. So most of my bills are due on the 15th. We got a credit card due on the 15th. And I have another credit card that's due up here on the 1st. And then I also have, all right, so this was definitely the 31st and the 30th. So, and the 29th, 28th. All right, so this is the cell phone. And then I love this one because you can add up all this stuff over here. Or if you're like me and you already have it all added up, then you can put your total here. And then I also like to add a total with the actual late fees. So then you have an idea. Now, whenever you see at the end of each week how much money you're getting paid and how much money is due, then this is gonna help you to recognize where you're gonna have troubles, overdraft fees, late charges. Now, this is what's killing me. In 2021, this is what's killing me. Now, it's been extremely hard for me because we did not have to pay rent for a couple years, and it kind of spoiled us, and we totally forgot how extremely difficult it is. But I gotta be honest with y'all, the last time I rented, my rent was $450 a month when I was like 22. And now that I'm 41, rent is $800 a month. And by the time next year rolls around to about July, it's going to be $1,100 a month. So my goal is to try to figure out a way for all these late fees to go away. I've got to figure out a way to save some money so that I'm not paying all these stupid late fees, and then I can save money to get a down payment for a house or fix up the current house that we already have, things of that nature. All right, so then after we write down all of the bills, all right, we're gonna go ahead and write down the bills for next. We also have, hold on, I'm gonna try and find a pen. All right, so then we also have the cell phone bill that's due. Cell phone, and I used to have a car note, but now that my car is totaled, I don't have it anymore. I'm so sad. But regardless, we're going to have to put some serious money into our other vehicles that are broken down. So we're going to have to take the money that we would normally spend on our car note until we get a car note and actually fix our car up. Fix our car that's broke down up. Really, there's nothing major wrong with it. It just needs tires and, brakes and all these things that happen whenever your car sits up for a little while. All right, so I highly recommend that you put that stuff into your budget now if your car is running fine and you don't have any reason to actually deal with that. I highly recommend that you go ahead and budget to fix your car up, especially if you have a backup car. Go ahead and get one of your fellow employees to give you a ride to work or something of that nature, and then you can go from there. All right, so let's say at this point I'm gonna have to let y'all go because I gotta write some real numbers on here, and it's none of your damn business. Okay. But the thing I love, I really wish that the notes were at this end. So I'm probably gonna make myself a little section over here where I can add, so this is how much money I made this week, and this is how much money I spent this week, right? So here's how much money I made, here's how much money I spent. Here's how much money I made, here's how much money I spent. And if you write it sideways, you can kind of fit it on there. You might have to write it this direction if your bills are bigger than mine. All right, so we made, money we spent, money we made, money we spent. And then at the end, we can put save. So how much did you save? At the end of the year, at the end of the month, you can put down here how much you saved. Now, since you have spent all this time watching this video, you must be kind of young. Maybe you have no experience dealing with people that are trying to take advantage of you financially, but I do. I have a ton of experience with it. So I'm going to give you a couple pointers here. So number one, you want to invest some of your money into something that will come back to you. Now, me personally, I try to invest in dividend stocks. The stock market is pretty rocky right now, so this might not be for everyone. I always believe that you shouldn't put all your eggs in one basket, and this is not financial advice. I am not a financial advisor. This is just what I do, and if you want to do that, then you can too. So say you really don't have a whole lot of money to, like at the end of the month, you have no money left. There's zero money left. Well, what do? All right, so something I found in 2021 that helped me to put money in the stocks even when I didn't work at a place that offered stock benefits or have any extra money to put in stocks. If you have a Cash App, which most people do, then you can set it up so that your Cash App rounds up into a particular stock. So let's say you go to get you a Coke, and the Coke machine takes 75 cents. 25 cents is going to go to that stock. So whatever, for each dollar that you spend, the change is going to go into a stock, and you can choose what stock that you want it to go into. So I usually choose stocks that have dividends because dividends pay out monthly. Sometimes they pay out quarterly. In other words, 4 times a year. And, you want to look for these stocks that pay dividends because that's going to add up, right? And you're going to get paid these dividends. Now, how much money do you have to have in the stock market for these dividends to pay your bills? This is a great question, right? Over $100,000. And what if you spent years and years putting these hundreds of thousands of dollars into the stock market and then it plummets? Well, then you're not going to be able to pay your bills. So you don't ever want to have yourself completely dependent upon these stocks, because sometimes the market just bottoms out and there's not a lot you can do unless you are particularly wealthy. Then you can trade stocks, which is a little bit, that's a whole nother story, okay, on how you do that. And that's a sore subject for me right now, so we're not going to talk about that today. But if you are particularly wealthy, I highly recommend that you treat yourself and buy some books on stock trading, all right, for the New Year's, so that you can educate yourself. Because if you can buy 100 stocks, 100 shares in any one stock, then you can go in and trade based on what you think the market is going to do. So if you are, particularly good at math, or you just really have some extra money and you want to figure out how to invest it, there's a lot of ways that you can invest it. You can invest it in, invest in stocks. Artwork is the best thing to invest in because it never goes down in value. Unfortunately, a lot of art is super toxic, so you don't want to have it in your house. But we're moving on over 20 minutes now talking about this stuff. So I highly recommend that you have a job and that you also have a backup form of income, such as an investment, as well as a side hustle. And the reason why you want to do all these things is because your side hustle, you can turn that into a business, and then that will help you write off your expenses. And then if your business plummets or your stock market plummets, you'll have your job. And if your job, you get fired, or your side hustle just takes a plummet, say that your side hustle is art, like me, then during a pandemic, or even just a recession. I feel like we're already in a recession. People keep saying, oh, we're going to go into recession, everybody be careful. We're in a recession. If you didn't notice, we're already in a recession. And the lenders and the people who are, definitely getting paid every month, they are not budging. They are taking more and more and more and more. So what do we need to do? We need to hustle more and more and more. And we need to take our money back. All right. So how do we do that? We don't fall into the late fee categories. We don't allow our account to go in the hole or in the negative. And we do everything possible to, find out what is costing us. Okay, so I save all my receipts. So what I do is at this time of year, I take all my receipts, count them, and figure out where I'm blowing the most of my money. And I stay the hell away from that place because clearly they're charging too much. All right, y'all, my phone's about to die, and I'm going to go ahead and post this to YouTube later. And if you are new to my channel, it's the first time you've seen this video, please take a moment to click on my website and go follow my other channels. Thank you so much, and I hope you have a blessed new year. And hey, if you get COVID at the beginning of 2023, don't give up, okay? That's what happened to me in 2022, and I pretty much never planned another day in my whole year. I was just like, screw it.